Assalamu alaikum, guys. So I wanted to talk to you a little bit about why art today sucks. Now, a lot of people, they compare the art of today to, for instance, what, you kind of see in terms of the church's legacy from buildings and choir music, and you compare it to the junk that we have today. And justifiably, a lot of people feel like, well, this art isn't really art. This sucks. We got, these modern day musicians. I don't know if you can even call them that, who, they're just, you know, what more should I say? Now, while I think that's true in one sense, I also do believe that there are forms of art that have been created due to modern technology which were not available before. For instance, I think some of the things that you can do with cinematography are incredibly beautiful. And so there actually is an art form within, the modern world, which is, a kind of beauty, right? Or at least it has the potential to be extremely beautiful. Now, obviously, at the root, there are deep metaphysical reasons why art today sucks. It's because the spirit of man has changed from those past ages, right? God is God. What's that hadith? Allahu Jamil wa yuhibbul Jamal. God is beauty and He loves beauty. When man is disconnected from God, he's disconnected from the source of beauty, and hence anything that he produces, the art he produces, the civilization he produces, is going to be ugly. It's not going to be beautiful. Whereas when mankind or when we are connected to God, then obviously the products of our creation are also going to be beautiful. All that being said, I think there's one other reason. There's probably several other reasons, but just one of them that I wanted to talk about, or that came to mind, was this idea, the kind of role of capitalism that it plays, particularly in the film industry. What do I mean by that? One of the kind of key elements of any great story is, going to be kind of, the story arc. We kind of all learn it in English class or whatever. There's an arc to every story. Now, what happens is when the writers of a great story, a brilliant mind, somebody with an imagination, they came up with the whole thing, they know exactly what's going to happen. And I don't just mean the writers, I mean the entire production team. When they imagine the story. They write the script as well as the scenes and whatever. There's a natural beginning point and a natural end point and an arc to that story. And the story usually means something beyond just the story that was told. Usually if it's a really great story, it has some kind of meaning, some deep meaning that kind of touches you in some way, changes your life, means something to you beyond just, the entertainment. What happens is that one thing that I've noticed is that you have a lot of the times a great story ruined by financial interests. What do I mean by that? I don't mean a lack of funding. I mean sometimes beyond the story's natural arc, what happens is the story is extended past that. It had a natural arc. This Netflix series should have ended in 3 seasons. Should have ended in 4 seasons. That was it. They told the story. But no, because it's become a famous story that has millions of people watching, there's now a huge financial incentive to just keep making or keep pushing the end of the arc further back, or get to the end of that arc and then start a new arc, which was not as good, and it's just like rubbish, right? And what they do is they just keep putting out more and more episodes and putting out more and more, extending the story beyond its natural, kind of form, because they want to make money. And I think that's what happened with Star Wars. Now, obviously, there's this other thing with Star Wars, with the feminist agenda and trying to push this postmodern idea of men and women being exactly the same, and women can do everything men can do. And they totally ruined the story, and they botched it from that perspective. I think everybody's on board with that. It was a terrible movie. And now they're doing the same thing with, I don't know what else. I'm not really following what the newest movies are, but on Facebook, there was a lot of people talking about Captain Marvel or something. How can a captain be a girl? I didn't understand that. So that was weird to me. But well, I guess captain could be a girl technically, because women can join the army and all of that now. So whatever, it's just an official position, right? So in any case, you have these sequels as well, like The Hobbit, like Star Wars, like whatever, which, I mean, in the case of The Hobbit, it wasn't a case of, let's say, an ideological push for like feminism, But nevertheless, there was financial objectives. There was a financial incentive. Why? Because there were so many millions of fans that they knew that if they made the Hobbit movies, even if they sucked, there would have been a huge fan base that would have gone and seen it anyways. Same thing with Star Wars. Even though it sucks, there's so many diehard fans that are just going to go and see it anyways. And so what happens is that they don't care about the story. They don't care about the beauty that they are creating. They don't care about the meaning that was there in the initial kind of story arc. For them, it's about money. And if they can make millions of dollars off of all of the stuff that's going to come out of a new Star Wars episode, they're going to do it, because for them, beauty is not important. The money that they make it to, to fulfill their material desires, that is worth more to them than the potential beauty that they could create. So that's kind of the point I wanted to make here. Once again, there is a deeper metaphysical crisis. The reason why the vast majority of the art that our civilization produces, or I shouldn't say I should say the modern world produces, is absolute garbage and looks nothing like the beautiful background that I have here, which is beautiful art. You see, this is beautiful art, okay? And in fact, even when you enter this garden, you feel an extreme sense of peace on a nice, beautiful spring day like this. It's calming, and there are studies to show that being in nature calms you. So there's even, I should show you this as well. There's even this beautiful pool, and sometimes that spring is working. I mean, you just don't have this. This is a traditional Persian design, and that's why it's beautiful, because it stems from the heart of Islam. And the heart of Islam is beautiful. It is connection with God. It is oneness with God. It is tawheed, the belief in one God, and submitting to Him and submitting to His will, right? And getting close to Him. And so that manifests on this plane. You don't have that in Western civilization anymore. I think the Notre Dame church falling was a sign of this, was an omen of this. And yeah, those are just some thoughts I wanted to leave you guys with. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.